Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Monday evening. As always, we keep you up to date with the latest in our news, economic news, sports, weather, and so much more. I am Glenora Shipura. Getting into the news tonight, social activist Michael Amushelelo is in hot water again after sharing the personal contact details of Bank of Namibia Governor Johannes Gravagab. The activist has released a series of statements calling out Gravagab's alleged corrupt tender allocation from his co-accused, Finance Minister Ipumbu Shimi. The purpose of sharing the number is so that Namibians can call him and ask him if he didn't get a tender for $451 million Namibian. In a post dated May 10th, Amushelelo accused Shimi of using his influence to help Governor Gravagab corruptly acquired a $451 million Namibian tender. He stated that in 2022, the bid evaluation committee recommended cancelling the tender, but it was never reevaluated or re-advertised. Amushelelo alleged that while the country mourned President Geingo's death, Shimi and Gravagab schemed to award themselves the tender. According to a statement addressed to Amushelelo last week, Norman Shombe of Shombe Elago Incorporated, a legal representative of Gravagab, stated that exposing the governor's number has resulted in him receiving unsolicited messages threatening abuse and harassment from unknown numbers, as well as from Amushelelo himself. We place on record that your conduct of publishing the said mobile number is a criminal act in terms of the Communications Act, Act 8 of 2009, in particular Sections 117(1)(e) to H, and invite stringent penalties of up to 5 years imprisonment or 20,000 Namibian dollars, fine or both such imprisonment and fine upon conviction. Because he is a corrupt thief, in his response to this, Amushelelo said that this was a laughable attack considering that he was coming for him for not falsely accusing him of corruption, but rather for leaking his phone number. However, instead of suing me for all the corruption allegations I've made against him, Johannes Gravagab has opted to sue me for sharing his number. Despite warnings to remove the number from his social media pages, Amushelelo has reposted it, asserting that he refuses to be silenced. Consequently, Gravagab will take the matter to the High Court of Namibia on an urgent basis to seek an appropriate court order, including a cost order against Amushelelo, as he failed to comply with the instruction to immediately remove the mobile number from his social media platforms. Getting to our next story, the 12-year dispute between Ovakweyu and Shipepa royal families regarding Chief Christian Erike Dharewa successor was dismissed by the High Court last week, upholding the appointment of the late chief's elder son, Manese Meunju Dharewa, as chief of the Dharewa traditional community. The Minister of Urban and Rural Development appointed an investigation committee to look into the succession dispute by Section 12 of the Act. The committee held meetings with the different factions from October 7th to 9th, 2014. When the report from the investigation committee was not received for over a year, Kapia appealed to compel the minister to consider his application. Alternatively, he requested the minister to release the report. The death of Christian in 2012 caused a division in the community. After his passing, the Ovakweyu and Shipepa families nominated Raphael Kapia, a relative of the deceased, as the new successor, while Manese received the vote of the late chief's council. Unpleased with this decision, Kapia launched an application for review in 2012, this initial motive being that the entire succession process had once again been unfair and in breach of Article 18 of the Namibian Constitution. Additionally, according to Kapia, the late chief had made it clear that the dominant clan Shipepa and Ovakweyuva should have the authority to make the designation. He further argued that the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, who approved the appointment of Christian's elder son, failed to invoke Section 510 to direct that an election be held to elect the chief. This flaw renders his decision to designate the third respondent as chief a nullity, or at least subject to review. However, Kapia's succession was questioned and remained indefinite despite his relation to the family through a matrilineal line. Getting into our next story, Namibia will resume the importation of poultry meat from South Africa following the suspension of the importation and in-transit movement of live poultry and poultry products last year from South Africa. This was due to the increase of highly pathogenic avian influenza cases in South Africa. HPAI is a bird flu with a high death rate that spreads rapidly through a flock. Chief Veterinary Officer at the Agriculture Ministry, Albertina Shilongo, said that it should be noted that only poultry which is derived from live poultry originating from biosecure farms as listed by the Veterinary Authority of South Africa will be permitted to be imported into Namibia. Last year, September, the Agriculture Ministry announced the suspension of the importation of live poultry, fresh frozen poultry, table eggs, and day-old chicks and hatching eggs from South Africa to Namibia. At that time, the ministry said that the suspension was prompted by the alarming spread of HPAI cases in commercial poultry in export-approved poultry farms. The ministry said, therefore, there was a need to reinforce the control measures to prevent the possible introduction of HPAI into the Namibia through poultry and poultry products last year. South Africa lost 9.5 million chickens, about a third of its national flock, during its worst outbreak of HPAI. The Namibia Diverse Women's Association and Trans-Intersex Androgynous Movement of Namibia said they are worried about the growing hate speech that directly fuels homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia in the country's political leaders. The association on Friday celebrated the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia, and in doing so, NDWA and TIAMON emphasized the importance of acknowledging the existence and experiences of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex community in Namibia, and issued a press release to this effect. NDWA's strategic coordinator Linda Magano Baumann said the Namibian LGBTI+ movement celebrates ongoing resilience and progress made in enhancing support systems and fostering healing. Baumann said there is increased discrimination, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, and the emergence of anti-LGBTI groups and NGOs advocating for the human rights of LGBT+ Namibians. NDWA and TIAMON are concerned about leaders within state organs such as the National Assembly, the National Council, anti-LGBTI religious groups, traditional authorities, and political parties misleading the Namibian public and propagating hate speech that directly fuels homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia in the country. This year, the group celebrated the day under the theme "No One Left Behind: Equality, Freedom, and Justice for All," which they said serves as a beacon of unity and solidarity in championing the human rights of LGBTI+ communities globally. The director at the University of Namibia campus in Rundu, Helen Miranda, says the continual reduction of government subsidies negatively impacts the campus' ability to implement programs and expand course offerings to incoming students. Miranda made these remarks during an engagement with the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Human Resources and Community Development. The engagement was on the motion "Deep Current Crisis in the Education Sector," which is tabled by the leader of the Landless People's Movement, Bernardus Swartboy, in the National Assembly last year, February. The motion aims to find immediate and long-term intervention to overcome the post-COVID-19 impact within the education sector. The Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation recently announced UNAM's budget of $1 billion Namibian, while $505 million Namibian goes to the Namibia University of Science and Technology. Miranda said there is a need for increased government funding to enable the university to expand its course offerings, enhance research capabilities, and improve facilities. On the other side of the break, we take a look at our story of the day.
Introducing 061 Express, brought to you by Synergy in proud partnership with Windhoek Express. Here's your chance to make your voice heard to celebrate the businesses that make Windhoek exceptional. From your favorite coffee spot to the salon that always gets your style just right. It's time to shine a spotlight on the gems of our city. Over the next 8 weeks, it's your chance to vote for your favorites to recognize the best of the best. Nominations open on the 25th of April and close on the 5th of May. To nominate your favorite business, simply save this number 085 785 6231 and WhatsApp hashtag 061Express or scan the QR code below and follow the on-screen instructions. By nominating your favorites, you're not only supporting local businesses, but you also stand a chance to win your share of 50,000 Namibian dollars in cash. The voting process will be the same as the nominations process, using the Synergy chatbot and the hashtag 061Express. Voting opens on June 5th and closes on June 23rd. Make sure to cast your vote for the best of the best. The winners will be announced on June 28th. 061Express, celebrating the heartbeat of Windhoek. Get ready to make your mark.
Getting into our story of the day, to enhance the correctional services jurisdiction, the High Commission of Malaysia in Windhoek under the Malaysian Technical Cooperation Program will be sending 5 Namibian correctional service officers to participate in a fully sponsored 2-week Journey in Prison Reform Fellowship Course Series 1 of 2024 to be hosted by the Correctional Academy of Malaysia in Langkawi from the 26th of May to the 6th of June 2024. Dr. Muhammad Ramiz Yahya, Acting High Commissioner of Malaysia, and Harold Helmut Nuabeb, Deputy Commissioner of NCS, gives us a rundown of the fellowship course during the send-off event held at the High Commission of Malaysia in Windhoek today. Marriott Gula was there.
Yes, we have here with us today 5 of the correctional service officers. Will be attending a prison training course in Malaysia for a period of 2 weeks, commencing from the leaving for Windhoek, Namibia on the 23rd, which is this Thursday, and coming back to Namibia on the 7th of June. This 2 weeks course will enable them to be trained and develop their skills in how the prison office in Malaysia is being conducted daily and routinely.
We've been very privileged, actually, as the correctional service, to be accorded the opportunity to visit Malaysia on a very special course, a journey through prison reform. Our expectation basically is as much as we want to advance our systems here, we also want to learn from the other jurisdictions and see how they are advancing, so that that can actually help us to improve our systems here. So that is basically the most important thing, and that is what we are expecting to come and also to come and make a difference in Namibia as a whole.
And most importantly is to learn the culture of Malaysia. To learn Malaysia is to know Malaysia.
On the other side of the break, we take a look at the newly renovated road between Oshana Mall and David Shikomba Business Center in Ongwediva. To stick around for this story.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Getting into our story of the day, as previously highlighted, the newly renovated road between Oshana Mall and David Shikomba Business Center in Ongwediva was officially handed over by Town Mayor Tara Shalyefu recently. Before its facelift, the dilapidated road caused inconveniences to customers and slowed down business activities at the town's major business centers. Parallel to the upgrading of the road, street lights have been erected. Charles Yefu said the construction of street lights was a persistent request from students of the Jose Eduardo dos Santos campus and the Hifikepunye campus in the town who felt unsafe while traveling at night. Now, the upgrading of the road cost the council $4 million and the street lighting $3.1 million, respectively. Charles Yefu assured the residents of the town that they would continue to attend to their needs, which they have highlighted during public meetings. Charles Yefu asked residents to safeguard the investments against vandalism and to ensure effective maintenance. SWAPO told to appoint progressive councillors. Now, renowned northern-based business mogul and multi-millionaire Ben Daruka said the SWAPO party should appoint councillors who are uncompromising in ensuring that the country's business community is given the necessary support to thrive and in turn grow the country's economy while creating the much-needed employment creation. Daruka made these remarks during the official commissioning of the road and street lights project in Ongwediva on Friday morning. He told those in attendance that he was recently in a meeting with the councillors of Ongwediva, and one of the councillors referred to his business ventures and development over the decades at Ongwediva as Mickey Mouse. According to Economic News, NIP employees set for salary increase after NAPWA agreement. We'll take a look at this on the other side of the break.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toivon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
Getting into our economic news, the Namibia Institute of Pathology Limited and the Namibia Public Workers Union have concluded and signed a collective wage agreement for the 2024-2025 financial year, which will see employees receive salary increases ranging from between 6% and 10% effective April 1st, 2024. The agreement, according to NIP, marks a significant milestone and signifies its ongoing commitment to fostering a positive and collaborative relationship with all employees, recognizing their valuable contributions to its mandate of providing high-quality medical laboratory services to Namibia at large. We extend our sincere gratitude to the leadership of NAPU for their partnership and constructive engagement throughout the negotiating process. Their dedication to representing the interests of our employees has been instrumental in reaching this mutually beneficial agreement that aligns with our shared values of fairness, respect, and excellence. NIP CEO Kapena Shombonde said. NAPU Deputy General Secretary Mateus Ndeshikeya praised the parties for negotiating in good faith and not having to involve a third party. Next up is our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.16, against the euro at 19.84, against the US dollar at 18.27. 2 Namibian dollars and 53 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold, copper, and platinum went up while Brent crude oil went down at 0.55%, going for $84 and 52 cents per barrel. In international news, Taiwan and the U.S. pledge to maintain cooperation as the new administration takes office.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life.
Taiwan and the United States vowed to maintain cooperation in security, trade, and technology as a new administration took office today on the island. Lai Ching-te, who officially took over from Tsai Ing-wen after having served as her vice president for the past 4 years, met visiting U.S. delegates dispatched by President Joe Biden hours after the swearing-in ceremony. In a prepared speech, Lai said he hopes to elevate the rock-solid U.S.-Taiwan relations with more bilateral cooperation. Former White House economic advisor Brian Deasy reiterated the U.S. commitment to grow and deepen ties between the two nations. The U.S.-Taiwan partnership is stronger than ever, Deasy added. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken congratulated Lai in a statement, saying the United States looked forward to working with him to advance our shared interests and values, to deepen our long-standing unofficial relationship and maintain peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. We now take a look at our weather predictions for tomorrow. Katimamlilo can expect sunny weather conditions with a minimum of 11 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius. Windhoek can also expect warm weather with a minimum of 11 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius. Hendy's Bay can also expect some sunny weather conditions with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius, while Rehoboth can expect a minimum of 12 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. We'll now head over to the sports desk, proudly brought to you by SportsRep.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with golf news first. It's a golf news from the Ladies European Tour. It was the Munda German Masters, and that was won by a player from Germany, that is Alexandra Fosterling. She won in a playoff against Emma Spitz. Both of them finished on -12 after both of them finished their fourth round in 67. Great performance there by Alexandra Fosterling, winning. Second or third position was Gabriella Cowley of Great Britain, and then a good performance by South African, that is Sekola Golay. She came in with a tied 19th performance, so a good performance by the South African golfer playing on the Ladies European Tour. On the men's PGA Tour, it was a big one. It was the PGA, that is one of the majors of the men's calendar. It was the US PGA played at Valhalla. Winner there, American Xander Schauffele. He played 65 in his last round for a total of 21 under par. Just one shot better than Bryson DeChambeau, also from the United States. Southern African interest, it was Dean Burmeister that had a good tournament. He's from South Africa, born in Zimbabwe. He came in with 70 in his fourth round, and he was tied for 12th in the tournament, and that gets him into the tournament again next year. Continuing with tennis news on international sports news, it's the Italian Open that was concluded finals over the weekend. It is Alexander Zverev that won the tournament on the men's side of the draw. He's the third seed. He beat Nicolas Jarre, his 21st seed, and he beat him by 6-4, 7-5 in the final. On the women's side of the Italian Open, it was number one seed in the world, Iga Swiatek, as she's continuing a good form on clay. She beat Aryna Sabalenka, the number two seed, by 6-2 and 6-3. Quite a comfortable win for Iga Swiatek. Now it moves on to Roland Garros. It's a French Open that starts in a week. It will start on Sunday the 26th of May, and the finals will be played over the weekend of 8 and 9 June. That is in Paris. That is the French Open at Roland Garros. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is cycling news. It is the Giro d'Italia that continued stage 15, and it was the leader, Tadej Pogačar, that continued his brilliant form. He won the stage over 222 kilometers. That was from Manerba to Levingo, and it finished on the mountains, very steep, almost in the snow, but he dominated stage 15. That is Tadej Pogačar. He's from the UAE team Emirates. He won in 6 hours, 11 minutes and 43 seconds. That's 29 seconds ahead of Nairo Quintana of the Movistar team. On the general classifications, it is Tadej Pogačar comfortably in the lead. He's got a combined time of 56 hours, 11 minutes and 46 seconds. That puts him 6 minutes and 41 seconds ahead of Gareth Thomas in the second position from Great Britain. Daniel Martinez is in third position, 6 minutes 56 seconds behind Pogačar. So it will be stage 15 of the Giro d'Italia that continues. The last stage will be over this coming weekend. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Ari Hokart with the sports news. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.